Welcome back, Bison. It's been a while since we've seen you, and the new year has been off to an interesting start.
From our newly sworn-in president, Donald J. Trump, who has already begun introducing controversial executive orders and more.
There's been a lot of buzz around campus here as well, since D.C. has undergone a lot of changes just a month into 2025. From the infamous TikTok ban, Trump's slew of executive orders, and a return of an HBCU classic. Let's break it down here. I'm Danilo Wrightsell.
And I'm Khariss, and this is where you heard it all. We visited the streets surrounding the White House and Capital One Arena on Inauguration Day, where people began lining up at 3 a.m. to secure admission into the inauguration.
Khariss, you were there, right?
Yes, Nilo.
So what was that like? Tell me about it. I was there as well, but I heard so much about all the people that were there. Tell me what was the experience like for you?
So with just securing the interviews with the Trump voters, I tried speaking with them as I was. However, it took buying a Trump hat for them to speak with me. You can see here in the package we have coming up. Let's take a look. This is Khariss reporting to you from right outside the Capital One Arena. Currently, there is a large crowd gathered waiting for the newly sworn-in President Donald J. Trump. We've spoken to a lot of people out here to test the energy and how people are feeling about the upcoming 4 years. Let's take a look. Donald J. Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States on January 20th, 2025. Due to inclement weather, the ceremony was moved indoors to the Capitol Rotunda in Capital One Arena. However, large crowds gathered, some in support of the returning president and others in protest of his policies.
I'm feeling great. I'm excited to see what's entailed. He did a good job with his first term, and, I'm looking forward to see what he does with the next one. I'm a teacher back home, so, Teachers for Trump.
A teacher shared thoughts about Trump's promise to eliminate the Department of Education. The National Education Association warns this could negatively impact students, especially those from vulnerable populations.
We talked about taking away the National Department of Education. I think it's a good step because they really don't do much, and it'd bring a lot of money back to the states, and that's more money in the teacher's pocket, and it's more money for me. So, yeah.
With concepts of a plan, Trump's approach to border security and military funding was a focal point in his campaign. A veteran in the crowd voiced his support for the administration's stance on national defense and immigration.
I just feel like I agree with a lot of the policies that he had in the last administration and the things that he's talking about doing now, especially with a lot of things with the border. I'm a veteran myself, and just some of the things that I've seen I really didn't agree with. So I'm more so focused on the things that he's planning on doing with the economy, as far as with the military, getting that back right, and our homeland security as well.
Just on the outskirts, a group of demonstrators gathered in protest, chanting against what they described as a fascist regime. Speakers called on the public to resist policies they believe threaten civil rights, immigration protections, and environmental regulations.
He's already put an executive order out against birthright citizenship, which was actually in the Constitution, because when black people were freed from slavery, that was passed so that black people could become citizens. He's getting rid of it. He's talking about taking Greenland and the Panama Canal. This man has catastrophe in store for humanity.
The tensions in the crowd reflected the deep divisions in public sentiment as Trump embarks on his second term and as his administration begins implementing its agenda. The country remains sharply divided, both outside the Capital One Arena and beyond.
Next, we're spotlighting everyone's favorite app, TikTok. From the 12-hour ban to the influx of users on the app Red Note, the social media platform has everyone, including Howard students, in disarray. Man, we all thought that she was going to be gone, didn't we?
The funeral videos were insane.
People and students, all old, young, old, all alike, ran to their phones to all talk about how TikTok was going to be gone.
And we're so glad it's back.
Some of us.
TikTok, the app formerly known as Musical.ly, recently shook the entire world. Due to alleged security breaches and all three branches of government voting for its ban, the app was formally taken off all platforms on January 18th at 10:30 p.m.
I wanted to ask you, how did you feel about the TikTok ban, and did it affect anything on your social media life at all?
I guess when it actually got banned, I was with my friends and they're like, TikTok can't open. I was like, oh my gosh. But I was kind of prepared, but at the same time, I was like, I don't think it's going to actually permanently stay banned. And that's like exactly what happened. It got unbanned in like less than 24 hours.
I was like obviously upset because I spent a lot of my time on there, but when it came back, I was initially happy, but I realized like changes and like more censorship on the app. So I think it's like a broader representation of censorship and the direction our government is going. So yeah.
Initially, I was upset about the TikTok ban, and I would find myself like clicking on the app and it not working. So it did cause me to not be on social media as much, as I don't get the same enjoyment from being on other platforms.
Although the app was only banned for 12 hours, according to CNN, those who still have the app on their devices could access it, and those who no longer had it could no longer re-download it. This is Layla Murdoch.
And Cannon Trowell, and we're from the Heard It All News team.
We are a historically black university, the number one, if I do might add. So although Black History Month is officially in February, we here at the Mecca celebrate every day.
Exactly, Danilo. So with that being said, here's a little Black History broadcast fact from your favorite anchors. What world-renowned American singer, most known for their rendition of the Christmas song, was the first African-American to host a TV show on NBC in 1956?
Was I born in 1956? I don't know. I know it wasn't Sexy Red, though, because Bernice King, daughter of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, recently got into her.
Danilo, no, not Sexy Red at all.
Oh.
You don't know Nat King Cole? Oh, no. Come on. Moving on to sports. And now we have one of our sports reporters, Kelsie Jarrett, here to share all things sports.
Yes, Khariss. This past Monday, Howard University basketball faced off against the Morehouse College during the MLK Day Classic. The game tipped off at 4:30 p.m. and the gym sold out just 30 minutes later. Students and fans rushed to Byrd Gymnasium, eager to watch the game, only to be turned away by security. The event reached its capacity, but unfortunate to the Bison, a packed crowd couldn't help secure the win. In a thrilling game, the Morehouse Maroon Tigers defeated Howard 79-76. The loss drops the Bison to 8-11 on the season with back-to-back losses at home. Last week, Bowie State handed Howard a heartbreaking defeat and a nail-biter that came down to the very last second.
So, Kelsie, what do you think is causing this back-to-back loss?
Yes, so this actually marks the second Division II loss that the Howard Bison have faced this season. But honestly, I think it's a number of things. But most importantly, there are a few key players with a bunch of crucial injuries.
And how can the Bison turn this around?
Well, honestly, it's not all bad for the Bison. They have a 3-0 record in the MEAC Conference. The Bison leave today to Norfolk with star freshman Blake Harper. Harper has received his 11th straight Rookie of the Week award this week. The Bison look to bounce back this Saturday as they face Norfolk State at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+.
Well, it's glad to be back, because you all know I know absolutely nothing about sports. Thank you, Kelsie. But let's move into something a little bit different. Politics. Not even one full week into office, and President Trump has actively worked against the interests of marginalized Americans by freezing all civil rights cases.
His new Justice Department leadership froze civil rights litigation, ordering attorneys not to file new complaints until further notice.
Another memo ordered attorneys to report any police reform agreements finalized by the Biden administration in the last 90 days.
The new administration suggested it may reconsider these agreements, potentially disregarding any that were finalized under Biden in Louisville and Minneapolis.
Last month, the Justice Department reached an agreement with Louisville to reform its police force after the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor in 2020 and the treatment of protesters. However, memos from the Trump administration suggest these agreements could be repealed, jeopardizing critical reforms.
The Trump administration has not specified how long the freeze will last, but its impact on the civil rights of Americans could be significant.
We congratulate the Washington Commanders for their first conference championship in over 2 decades. They've had a historical season, and DC is truly proud.
And in school news, the ad drop period has been extended to January 31st. I'm Khariss.
I'm Danilo Wrightsell, and this is where you
heard it all.